Okay, all right. So we live in an interesting time. Technology gives us unprecedented ways to do science and share knowledge. And the internet gives us almost unlimited access to information and the ability to communicate with others in a revolutionary way. And yet, there are many versions of truth and reality. People all over the world believe this statement. How could that be in this era of technology and unprecedented access to information? Well, look at the way that we typically view the Earth. Whether on a paper map or digitally on a screen, the way that we view our home planet is often quite unrealistic and distorted. The poles are way too large, and the southern hemisphere is too small. The good old Mercator projection does a horrible disservice to the Earth in the way that it wildly distorts the size and shape of the continents. Is it any wonder that people think that Antarctica is a giant place when you see it spread out across the bottom of the map? And the traditional geopolitical maps that are in classrooms all over the country and around the world just reinforce this faulty view. And we are in a time where it is critical that people, especially politicians and policymakers, understand the Earth. Because people believe what they see, whether it's on TV, the internet, or social media. And scientists have been trying to get them to see for decades now that climate change is an enormous threat to humanity. But the presentations and charts and peer-reviewed papers aren't getting through. In fact, every time it snows or it's cold outside, you invariably hear, "Where's your climate change now?" We even had a US senator throw a snowball on the floor of Congress to punctuate his denialism. How do we get them to see differently? How do we get them to understand that these blizzards are actually fed by record warmth in our oceans? And that warmth is fueling these type of high-impact storms. Because, frankly, the public hears, blah, 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 science, science, science. Or they accuse scientists of acting like Chicken Little and predicting the end of the world. And then it's just business as usual. And we are trying to tell them that our house, our Earth, is on fire. We are trying to warn them so that we can focus on solutions instead of arguing about whether the fire or climate change exists in the first place. Because public's like, where's my sound? The public's saying, you know, they're being warned, the roof is on fire, and they're saying, we don't need no water, let that mother burn. If I had sound, it'd be awesome, right? Yeah, so really, we don't need no water, let that mother burn? That is a sad metaphor for the current state of affairs. Because human-caused climate change is the equivalent of throwing oil-soaked rags in that house and then saying, why did it burn down so fast? Yeah, humans are pretty stupid, right? We're literally throwing gasoline on that proverbial fire. And from the fire into the flood, because we're also warning them about flooding threats for decades. Can we use metaphors to help them understand sea level rise? Picture this, you've got a beautiful day at the beach, your brightly colored beach blanket, your basket full of sandwiches, you set up your towels, that perfect ocean view, and you run off to play. Now, if you leave your things too close to the water, as the tide comes in, those things start to get ruined. Would you really just leave your things there to get ruined? Or would you move them to higher ground? This is the equivalent that we are trying to get them to see, to focus on those type of solutions. Because 75% of cities with populations of 10 million or more are located within 100 kilometers of the coast. Data shows us that our oceans are rising and these cities will be severely impacted. Yet we're arguing about whether that is true, not about what we're going to do. Change is upon us. You can see it, even if you can just see it metaphorically. And if you can see it, you can believe it. If you can believe it, you can care about it. And if you can care about it, you can take action instead of dismissing Chicken Little. Change is upon us. We do not have time to waste. We have a window of time to have an organized movement of data-driven decision-making that allows us to choose relocation over rebuilding, resilience over resisting science, and common sense over corrupt complacency. The roof is on fire, and the crowd is crying, we don't need no water, let that mother burn. We cannot afford to do nothing. In fact, the road ahead is already slightly submerged. Yet, I believe in our ability to collectively come together and adapt to the changes that are upon us. I see a future where climate change brings opportunity and not just hardship, where we, metaphorically speaking, weather the storm.